Hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning in to learn more about Early On Michigan. After viewing this presentation, we hope you walk away with a better understanding of what to do if you're concerned about your child's development, what Early On is, and how the Early On process works. So I don't work for Early On. I work for Michigan Alliance for Families, and I've worked with many families who received Early On services. My family also received Early On services when my child was young. Michigan Alliance for Families is free information, support, and education for families across Michigan who have children who receive or may be eligible to receive special education supports and services. In Michigan, a child or young adult may be eligible to receive special education services from birth to age 26. Our goal is to help families be more involved in their child's education and understand their role and rights. We have regional parent mentors across Michigan who live where they serve. They all have a loved one who currently receives or previously received special education supports and services. As you have questions, are looking for information or resources, or need support, please don't hesitate to reach out to your regional parent mentor by calling 800-552-4821. Really, that was a lot of words to say that at Michigan Alliance for Families, we're here to help. That's what we do. Let's start our time together thinking of all the fun learning and changing that babies and toddlers do. Those skills like crawling, walking, waving goodbye, and starting to talk are called developmental milestones. Growth and development tend to follow a certain sequence with a normal range for learning to occur. Skills are expected to emerge at more or less certain ages. At 4 months, babies typically begin to babble. At 9 months, they typically know the meaning of the word no. At 3 years, children usually know their name and their age. There are detailed lists and questionnaires available for you to look at developmental milestones. If you're concerned that your child is behind other kids their age, these checklists or guides can be a great starting point. The CDC has lots of resources. One good starting point is cdc.gov/milestones. If you think your child is not gaining these skills like other kids their age, it is often a good idea to first talk to your child's doctor or child care provider about their perspective. Explain your concerns. Share what you've noticed with your child and why you are concerned. Your child may have a disability or a developmental delay. He or she may be at risk of having a disability or delay. Another site that can be a helpful starting point is cdc.gov/concerned. Use that list to drive your conversation with your doctor or child care provider. If you're concerned your child seems behind other children their age, you may want to contact Early On Michigan. Trust your gut and what you're seeing, then consult experts and gather more information. If you're still concerned, ask for an evaluation. As parents, it can be difficult when our child is developing at a different pace than quote-unquote normal. It's important to remember that children experiencing developmental delays are more like typical children than different. At every stage, what they need is your love, understanding, and time. If you know your child has a delay or a disability, knowing these typical milestones is important. You might want to bookmark it or print out the milestone guide. Knowing what skill comes next, even if it comes at a slower rate, will help you help your baby develop and learn. Don't worry, but don't wait is great advice when you have concerns about your child's development. Lots of our brain development occurs in the first 3 years of life. Early intervention is key to minimize possible delays. Research has shown that by addressing delays early, especially between birth and age 3, children have better outcomes, even into adulthood. Early On is Michigan's system for helping babies and toddlers who have developmental delays or are at risk of delays due to certain health conditions, and their families. It's designed to help families find social, health, and educational services that will promote the development of their infants and toddlers. More information can be found at 1-800-EARLYON.org. Early On's vision is infants and toddlers who are enrolled in Early On reach their fullest potential, successfully transition to the next phase in life, with empowered and supportive families. The intention is to provide supports and services to the child and family in everyday life to support learning and development. Early On provides services for families who have a baby or toddler starting at birth through age 3 who have an established health condition or developmental delay. Children are evaluated by a team with different areas of expertise to determine eligibility. That means people with training in speech and communication, behavior, social skills, child development, mobility, or other areas will be a part of the team to provide a full evaluation for your child. When we're looking at if a child qualifies for Early On under developmental delay, we are looking at those milestones we discussed a few minutes ago. It's when a child takes longer than expected to learn a skill. Some areas of concern could be talking, moving, or responding to others. For early intervention services, developmental delay is defined as any delay for infants up to 2 months of age, adjusted for prematurity, or 20% in one or more areas of development for infants and toddlers between 2 months and 36 months. When we are looking at if a child qualifies for early on under an established condition, there is required documentation of a diagnosis from a qualified health or mental health provider. There's a full list of established conditions at 1-800-EARLYON.org. Some examples include Down syndrome, autism spectrum disorder, cerebral palsy, hearing loss, or vision impairment. If a child has an established condition, he or she is eligible for early on as long as that diagnosis is current. No further evaluation is required. Early on has a clear process to follow when determining if your child is eligible, and if so, to develop a plan. The first step is referral. The referral is asking to have the child evaluated to see if they're eligible. The referral starts the early on process. It occurs because of a concern about the child's development or health issue. Once early on receives a referral, your family will receive notice that early on has been contacted. This notice includes an early on parental consent form asking your permission to evaluate your child for early on services. The notice will also contain a copy of your family rights and procedural safeguards, including information on how early on protects your confidentiality. To view copies of important forms, click on www.1800earlyon.org/family. To support you during the process, your family will be assigned a service coordinator. They will be in charge of setting up the appointment for an evaluation. Your early on team will look at how your child grows and learns, including thinking, talking, moving, hearing, seeing, responding to others, and taking care of basic needs. During this time, you will have the opportunity to talk about your child's growth and development from birth and your concerns. This may include information from your child's doctor or caregiver. The purpose is to better understand the whole picture of your child. As we discussed, early on is for eligible children who need supports and services because they have what is called a developmental delay or an established condition. If your child is not found eligible, the coordinator will review information with you used to make the decision and share community resources and information that may be useful. If your child is found eligible, an Individualized Family Service Plan, an IFSP, is developed. The IFSP is a written plan that will guide the outcomes or goals expected for the child to grow and develop and fully participate in daily activities and community activities. It lists the services to be provided by early on. We'll talk more about the IFSP in a few minutes. The assigned service coordinator is then responsible for ensuring the right services are delivered for your family. Early On Michigan helps to make sure eligible children get the services they need to be healthy, grow, and develop appropriate skills. Let's break down those steps when determining eligibility and getting those services in place. The first step is referral. Anyone can make a referral. You do not need a referral from a doctor or a teacher. You can make the request yourself. You can do that online at www.1800earlyon.org or call 1-800-327-5966, which is easy to remember as 1-800-EARLY-ON. When the designated agency, typically the intermediate school district, receives the referral, the following activities must be accomplished and on the set timeline. A service coordinator must be assigned as soon as possible. Notice to the family of the referral and request for permission to evaluate the child must be made within 10 calendar days. While parents can refer, other referral sources could be hospitals, physicians, child care providers, local education agencies, public health facilities, or other social service providers. This is why notice to the family of the referral is required within 10 days. A complete evaluation and assessment must be conducted within 45 days. And an IFSP meeting must be held, again, within 45 days from the receipt of the referral. There are no waiting lists for early on. When the referral is received, the clock starts on this timeline. The receipt of a referral for early on starts the 45 calendar day timeline to complete the screening, if applicable, initial evaluation, initial assessments of the child and family, and the initial IFSP meeting. Your child's medical records will be reviewed if you make them available. If the records indicate that an established and eligible health condition exists, a full evaluation for eligibility is not needed. A child with an established condition is automatically eligible for supports and services in early on. An initial screening may be done to take a quick look at your child's development to decide if a full evaluation is necessary. If the screening does not show a concern, you still have the right to request a full evaluation if you think it's necessary. An evaluation of your child's growth and learning may be done in your home, at your local school district or intermediate school district, to determine if your child has a developmental delay. If your child is found eligible, the early on team will then use the information from the evaluation to help to develop a plan of support and services for your child and family. You may be wondering what a full evaluation looks like. Evaluation areas include communication, how your child understands and lets you know what he or she wants. Social emotional, how your child gets along with family members and other people. Cognitive, how your child thinks and problem solves. Adaptive, how your child performs such tasks as dressing, feeding, and toileting. Or physical, how your child moves. This could also include vision or hearing screenings. The evaluation team uses all the information they have gathered to determine your child's eligibility for early on. Once eligibility is determined, someone from the evaluation team will review the results with you. You will receive a copy of the evaluation report or reports, which you should review carefully. If you have questions about the information in the reports, your service coordinator can help you find the answers you need. Your family will receive an eligibility determination, which becomes part of your child's early on record. You should understand all the information about your rights and activities that affect your child and family. If your child is not found eligible, early on can still help you by giving you ideas and information. If your child is found eligible, the next step is the opportunity to complete a family assessment. The family assessment is optional and gives you the chance to share more information with your service coordinator. With your family input and evaluation information, the IFSP is developed. All right, it is time to dive into the Individualized Family Service Plan. The great thing about the IFSP is when you know what the letters stand for, it explains a lot of what should be included in the plan and how it should be developed. The I is for individualized. The plan needs to be built around your child and family. There is not a standard plan for all 18-month-olds with speech delays. Mila's plan should be different than Elijah's plan, which should be different than Amelia's plan. The plan needs to consider your unique child, their needs, and the priorities, concerns, and resources of your family. Which brings us to F. F is for family. For children who qualify for special education supports and services after age 3, the plan is an individualized education program. And the plan is written for the student in their educational environment. From birth to 3, it's a family plan because the whole family is engaged to help your child develop and learn. Children learn best from their parents or caregivers in everyday activities like diapering, bathing, eating, meals, dressing, shopping, and playing. The plan focuses on changes called outcomes you want for your child and family. These outcomes should be in your daily activities, the places you go, and the things your family does. The S is for service. Service information answers those WH questions about what will be provided, who will provide it, how often. I want to take a moment here and talk about the difference between an intervention and a service. A service is the professional activity from an early on provider to ensure you have the interventions you can use all the time between home visits. That's when your child's learning really happens. Intervention comes from the child's natural caregivers, like parents or other caregivers. You provide the most effective practice, encouragement, and guidance for your child to help your child succeed. The service from the professional is to provide training, skills, and information for you to use every day in effective interventions. Last but not least is the P for plan. The plan is the written document that can be changed as your child's or family's needs change. At minimum, the plan must be reviewed every 6 months and revised every year. There are many elements that need to be included in the IFSP. We're going to highlight a few elements today. I want to be clear, this is not everything that needs to be included. Your child's information and present levels of development are included in the plan. The IFSP must include a statement of the toddler or infant with the disability's present level of physical development, including vision, hearing, and health status, cognitive development, communication development, social or emotional development, and adaptive development. This list should sound familiar. It's based on the information from that child's evaluation and assessments. Family assessments are optional depending on the family preference. If provided, this could include concerns, what you will worry about with your child's growth, and learning how you would like early on to work with your family. Resources, including the people, places, relationships, supports, and services your family already has in place to help your child grow. You may share who important family members are or who other caregivers are. If you attend story time, daycare, or play group. Priorities. What you think is most important for your child and family. You may want to share the most difficult part of your day or what knowledge or skill you would like your child to have. The plan should be written in understandable language. If something doesn't make sense, always ask for more information. If you need it rephrased, explained, or provided in your native language, ask. The plan should be custom to be based on your child's needs and reflect the resources, priorities, and concerns shared from your family. There must be measurable results called outcomes. You and the rest of the early on team will develop a list of outcomes, which could be called results or goals. These outcomes are the changes you would like for your child and family. You will write these outcomes with your team by discussing your child's abilities, strengths, and needs, reviewing how your child participates in your family's daily life and community outings, discussing the results of your child's evaluation and assessments, and reviewing your family's concerns, resources, and priorities, and sharing information about what has changed since the child's assessment. The outcomes will be based on your priorities and concerns and fit into the everyday activities of your child and family. You can decide which outcomes are most important to you. You and your team will also decide how all of you will know when the outcome has been met and include that as part of the outcome. I just said a couple of things I want to make sure we all know the definition of. First, I said natural environments. Services must be provided as much as possible in natural environments, including in the home and community settings in which children without disabilities participate. The IFSP is meant for families to use their plan in daily life. The services should fit into your regular life, so you can use the interventions at home, at daycare, in the community, and with friends or family. I also said early on team. That team includes the parent, it includes you. Many parents feel like the team is presenting information to them, and I want you to be very clear on this. You are a valued member of the early on and IFSP team. You are an expert on your child. The team also includes your service coordinator and other professionals providing services to your child and family. I encourage you to ask for contact information for the other members of the team and their preferred method of communication. We have talked about some of the elements that must be included in the IFSP about the child and family. Now let's shift our focus to what must be included about interventions and services. Again, we're not going to cover all the information that needs to be a part of the plan. The required content of the IFSP is in Part C of our federal nationwide special education law, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA. The IFSP must include the services needed to meet the child and family's unique needs. Details about how the service will be delivered need to be in the plan. Reading the plan, you should know how often, for how long, where, by who a service is being delivered, when services will start, and if there are payment arrangements applicable. I know I've talked about natural environments a few times. This is a key concept in early on. The services should be delivered in the natural environment with children who do not have disabilities. Remember, the mission of early on is to build upon and provide supports and resources to assist family members and caregivers to enhance eligible children's learning and development through everyday learning opportunities. The plan lists the service coordinator responsible for making sure the plan happens and coordinating the services listed. As your child transitions out of early on, that process needs to be clearly defined in the IFSP. We have a whole video on that transition process. If your child is over 2 or nearing 2, I encourage you to check out Planning for What Happens After Early On Michigan Alliance for Families video tab at michiganallianceforfamilies.org. Your family has rights. You can learn more about your rights by searching Early On Procedural Safeguards for the Policy Guide from the Michigan Department of Education, or you can call Early On at 800-327-5966, or you can call Michigan Alliance for Families to reach your regional parent mentor at 800-552-4821. This list is a few highlights of your rights, including the right to learn if your child is eligible, participate in Early On if eligible, give consent for screening, evaluation, and assessment services, receive prior written notice about evaluations or possible changes to the eligibility or services, have a plan of services within 45 days of referral, fully understand each step of the Early On process, consent to or decline services, have your child and family information protected, review records, help resolve disagreements, or submit a complaint. As families of children with disabilities, we are appreciative of help. I want to remind you that this help is not just kindness or goodwill. States are required to seek out, identify, and evaluate children with disabilities. Michigan is one of 5 birth mandate states that have provided special education services for eligible kids from birth. Beginning in 1973, the Michigan Mandatory Special Education Act mandated services for young children through the same procedure used for school-aged children, including child find activities. Children under age 3 may receive either special education services or early intervention Part C only services set forth in an individualized family service plan. Early intervention services differ slightly from special education services in that they include family support services and are preventative in nature. The Michigan Department of Education is the lead agency responsible for providing early intervention under Part C of IDEA. This means that in local communities, the school district or intermediate school district is responsible for identifying eligible children, for providing educational services, and for coordinating and overseeing other services in the child's IFSP. Michigan Mandatory Special Education, or MMSE, is Michigan's law that provides special education to those eligible from birth to age 26. There are 13 eligibility categories. Early Childhood Developmental Delay, or ECDD, is one of those categories. Students eligible under this category are children from birth to age 7 whose development is significantly delayed in one or more areas and who do not qualify under any other special education category. For early childhood developmental delay, the significant delay is defined as a delay greater than half the expected development in one or more areas. We covered a lot of information in our time together about why early intervention is important, how to get the ball rolling, how Early On works, what's included in an individualized family service plan, and your rights. If you're concerned about your child's development or they have an established health condition, don't worry, but don't wait to reach out to Early On. You can call or go to 1-800-EARLYON.org to fill out an online referral, or grab the fax or email forms there and send them in your preferred method. Remember, Michigan Alliance for Families parent mentors are available to answer your questions and connect you with additional resources. That's our job, and we love our jobs. We're here to support you. Please do not hesitate to reach out. You can connect with us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Check out more videos on the YouTube channel. Look up specific information on the website, michiganallianceforfamilies.org, or call your parent mentor directly at 800-552-4821. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope this information was helpful. Have a great day. Bye-bye.